his lance and put his spurs to his mount. Without a moment's hesitation, the horse leapt forward as fast as a gust of wind, hurling itself towards Pier Soderini. Lorenzo felt the mighty musculature of his darting beast and heard the mud-splashed saddlecloth flapping in the breeze. Soderini had just set off, while Lorenzo had already covered almost half the distance. He raised his shield to better protect himself and aimed his long lance at his target. The crowd seemed to be holding its breath. From up on the wooden platform, Lucrezia kept her eyes fixed upon Lorenzo. She wasn't afraid. She simply wanted to impress the moment upon her memory. She knew how hard her beloved had prepared for this joust, and how extraordinarily courageous he was. He had already proved that. And she wasn't going to think about the fact that he was now promised to Clarice Orsini, the Roman noblewoman his mother had chosen for him. She wouldn't hide her passion for him, and neither would Florence and its people, who looked indulgently upon the pair of lovers. They hated the fact that Lorenzo's mother's scheming meant that the man appointed to lead the signoria had asked for the hand of a Roman, even if she was of noble rank. But that day there was no time to waste on such thoughts. The horse's nostrils steamed in the freezing air, the tempered steel plates of the armor glinted, and the banners flapped in a blaze of colors. Finally the impact came, a crash of wood and steel like a thunderclap. Lorenzo's lance found its way through Pier Soderini's guard and struck him in his breastplate. The lance shattered into pieces, and Soderini found himself thrown out of the saddle by the impact. He hit the ground of the square with a loud bang, while Lorenzo rode past him. The indomitable Folgore galloped on, rearing up with a whinny when he reached the end of the lists. The crowd exploded in a roar of amazement, crying out in jubilation, and the Medici, too, shouted at the top of their lungs, the men applauding thunderously and the women beaming with joy. Lorenzo was even more surprised than the rest of them. He could barely believe it. It had all happened so fast that he hadn't been able to take it in. Attendants and squires were already rushing to the aid of Pier Soderini, who must still be in one piece because he was standing up. He had slipped off his helmet and, red in the face, was shaking his head, partly in annoyance and partly in disbelief at having been unseated. Her hands on her bosom, Lucrezia's beautiful face lit up with a dazzling smile. Lorenzo removed his own helmet and iron gloves and almost instinctively touched the scarf. He could smell her perfume, light and intoxicating and full of promise. He loved her with a burning passion, the same passion that he tried to express in his clumsy sonnets. Many acclaimed his compositions as magnificent, but he knew that all the words in the world would never be able to do justice to what he felt in his heart. Lucrezia made him feel so alive, and when she looked at him with those eyes of hers, whose long onyx lashes seemed almost able to trap shadow, he felt blessed. He could think of nothing more beautiful. The crowd seemed to notice the looks that passed between them and exploded in a second roar of applause that was even more deafening than the first. Florence loved him, and so did Lucrezia. She had conceded him no more than a fleeting glance, but when he caught it, Lorenzo knew that he would love only her, and that even if his mother had already chosen for him a Roman bride, a noblewoman who would offer the family useful alliances and pacts, his heart would be for one woman alone, Lucrezia. While he was absorbed in these thoughts, the herald communicated the result, proclaiming Lorenzo the clear winner of the joust. His noble friends and dignitaries could wait no longer. Braccio Martelli was the first to jump down from the platform and run over to congratulate him, while his squires removed his breastplate and the tassets from his legs. Braccio was so happy that he began shouting Lorenzo's name, and the crowd joined in. Giuliano, the younger of the two Medici brothers, smiled down from the highest tribune. He was tall and elegant, and his subtle and refined features